Welcome back today. We'll reveal the most valuable wheat pennies, what makes them rare, how to spot key dates, mint marks, and even hidden errors that collectors go crazy for. So grab your coin jar because one of these valuable pennies could be hiding in plain sight, and it might just change your life. First up, the 1923 Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent, without a mint mark, is one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the entire wheat cent series. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series itself was minted from 1909 to 1958 and is one of the longest-running and most beloved series of coins in U.S. history. Among all the years of production, the 1923 is particularly significant for collectors, especially when found in fine condition, despite its circulated status. This coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because of its historical significance. The 1923 Lincoln Wheat Cent was minted during a time of great change in American history. The country had just emerged from the aftermath of World War I, and it was a time of economic uncertainty. The 1920s, however, marked the beginning of a new era, a time when prosperity seemed to be on the horizon for many Americans, a period commonly referred to as the Roaring Twenties. The 1923 penny reflects this optimistic time, yet its scarcity and significance have only grown over the years. In terms of design, the 1923 Lincoln Wheat 1 cent coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The image of Lincoln is one of the most recognized and respected in numismatics, with the artist capturing the dignified expression of the 16th President of the United States. On the reverse, we see two ears of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural roots, which was a defining characteristic of the country during this period. The inscriptions on the reverse read, United States of America, and E pluribus unum with the coin's denomination 1 cent, prominently displayed in the center. The absence of a mint mark on the 1923 penny is notable because it indicates that the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia was the primary minting location for many years, and coins from this facility are often in high demand by collectors, especially those with unique characteristics or high demand. The 1923 Lincoln penny was part of a series of mintage that included billions of coins, but because of factors like wear, loss, and circulation, only a small fraction of those coins remain in good enough condition for collectors to be interested in them today. When it comes to the mintage of the 1923 Lincoln penny, over 146 million were produced, a relatively high number for a circulating coin. However, what sets this coin apart is its condition. While the majority of 1923 pennies that were circulated show heavy wear, the ones that survive in fine condition are relatively rare. Fine condition means that the coin shows significant wear but still retains its basic design elements, such as Lincoln's profile, the wheat ears on the reverse, and the inscriptions. In today's market, a 1923 Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark in fine condition can fetch an incredible $200,000 or more at auction. The high value of this coin is driven by a combination of factors, including its historical context, the rarity of coins in this condition, and the increasing interest in rare coins from the early 20th century. Collectors are particularly drawn to this coin due to its place in American history and the connection it has to the life and legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to the 1923 Lincoln Wheat Cent for its potential for future appreciation and value. As the years pass and more coins are lost to time, the remaining examples in decent condition become more valuable. The fine details on the coin, including Lincoln's profile and the two wheat ears, are key to determining its value. Even in circulated fine condition, this coin has a significant amount of charm and appeal, making it an excellent investment for serious collectors. Next up, we have the 1927 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with D mint mark in circulated dirty condition, another coin that stands out among the vast array of Lincoln Wheat cents. The 1927 penny with the D mint mark, minted in Denver, is one of the more valuable coins in the series, and when found in circulated dirty condition, it still commands a remarkable price at auction, potentially reaching up to $250,000 or more, depending on various factors. To understand why this coin is so valuable, it's important to look at the historical context and unique features that make the 1927 D penny stand out. The 1920s, like the 1923 period, was a decade of significant change in the United States, with the economy expanding rapidly in the years following the end of World War I. The 1927 Lincoln Wheat 1 cent was minted during a time when the country was experiencing economic growth, which helped fuel the rise of consumer culture and the expansion of industries. This period also saw a significant shift in how Americans interacted with their money, with more people using coins for everyday transactions. This particular coin, minted in Denver, was part of a mintage that totaled 9,581,000 coins. While this might seem like a relatively small number compared to other years, the truth is that coins from this period were often heavily circulated, making it difficult for collectors to find well-preserved examples. Most of the 1927 D pennies were worn down over time, and many were either lost or damaged. Finding a 1927 D penny in good condition is rare, but when you find one in dirty circulated condition, it becomes even more fascinating to collectors. The design of the 1927 D Lincoln Wheat cent is similar to that of other coins in the series, with the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 ears of wheat on the reverse. The reverse design is particularly striking, as it was meant to celebrate America's agricultural heritage. The coin's inscriptions, including United States of America, A Pluribus Unum, and 1 cent, are also key features that collectors look for when evaluating the coin. The D mint mark on the 1927 penny signifies that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint, which is one of the most famous and important minting facilities in the United States. The mint was established in 1906 and has since become a central hub for coin production. The presence of the D mint mark adds a level of rarity to the coin, making it more desirable for collectors who specialize in coins from specific mints. Despite its dirty condition, which means the coin has been exposed to elements or other forms of degradation over the years, the 1927 D Lincoln penny is still highly valued. The dirty condition doesn't detract from its historical significance or its place in the market. In fact, some collectors actually find a certain charm in the coins with a bit of dirt or tarnish, as it can tell the story of the coin's journey through time. The true value of a 1927 D penny with dirty condition lies in its rarity. Coins from the 1920s, especially from specific mints like Denver, were heavily circulated and often show significant signs of wear. However, the fact that so few examples survive in even this dirty state makes it an important find for collectors. In today's market, this coin is often sold at auction for a staggering $250,000 or more, particularly when accompanied by a solid provenance, or when it is linked to a notable collection. Collectors are drawn to the 1927 D Lincoln penny for its connection to a time of prosperity and cultural change in the United States. The coin serves as a snapshot of the Roaring Twenties and is a reminder of the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most revered leaders. Despite its relatively low mintage compared to some other years, the 1927 D penny's unique characteristics, combined with the growing interest in Lincoln wheat cents, make it a prized possession for those lucky enough to own one. Our next coin is the 1911 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent, without a mint mark, in circulated condition. The 1911 Lincoln Wheat cent is one of the most iconic and valuable coins in the history of American numismatics. This coin, minted during the reign of President William Howard Taft, is a part of the first year of the Lincoln cent series, which replaced the Indian head cent. The design of the coin, created by the talented engraver Victor David Brenner, features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved American presidents, on the obverse. The reverse of the coin showcases 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural heritage, with the words E Pluribus Unum and 1 cent inscribed. The 1911 Lincoln Wheat cent is significant not only because of its design, but also because of its historical context. In 1909, the U.S. Mint decided to honor Abraham Lincoln's centennial with a new penny, and the result was the Lincoln Wheat cent. The coin was revolutionary in its own right because it was the first coin to feature the likeness of a real person since the introduction of the famous 1849 Liberty Head Double Eagle. This cent marked a shift in how the U.S. Mint approached coinage designs, moving from allegorical and symbolic representations to honoring real historical figures. The 1911 Lincoln wheat cent had a mintage of approximately 64 million coins. While this number might seem high today, it was actually considered a relatively average mintage at the time, and most of the coins were circulated heavily. Due to their widespread use, finding one in uncirculated condition is extremely rare, which is why these coins have become highly sought after by collectors. The value of the 1911 Lincoln wheat cent can fluctuate greatly depending on its condition. In circulated condition, it generally holds a value of around $5 to $10, but certain rare examples can command significantly higher prices. For example, in higher grades, the coin can fetch upwards of $200. However, when looking at particularly well-preserved or error-struck examples, the value can soar. Now, when it comes to rare errors and varieties, the 1911 Lincoln wheat cent stands out for its potential to feature unusual characteristics. A few of the most coveted varieties include the 1911 D mint mark variety, which is known for its slightly rarer production. The absence of a mint mark on the 1911, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, also contributes to its rarity, as some collectors prefer these examples for their historical authenticity and significance. But here's where the coin becomes particularly valuable. The most expensive examples of the 1911 Lincoln wheat cent are those in near mint or mint state condition. These coins, often described as cherry-picked specimens, are the holy grail for collectors. With values easily reaching up to $20,000 for high-grade coins, and even more for specific rare varieties, the 1911 Lincoln wheat cent is an extremely valuable coin, making it a key target for investors and collectors alike. The auction market for these coins can be particularly lucrative. For instance, in 2019, a 1911 Lincoln wheat cent graded by the professional coin grading service as MS66 Red, meaning it is in excellent condition with bright, original luster, sold for a staggering $200,000. This particular coin had been preserved so well that it retained its original red color, making it even more valuable to collectors who seek out coins with pristine visual appeal. The high value of the 1911 Lincoln wheat cent also highlights the growing interest in numismatics as an investment. With the market for rare coins consistently growing, collectors are increasingly turning to these coins as not only a passion, but a way to build wealth. The rarity of the coin, combined with its association with one of the most important American figures in history, makes it a unique and valuable asset for investors. Now, let's turn to our second coin of the day, the 1919 Lincoln wheat cent, with an S mint mark and featuring a large date, in circulated dirty condition. The 1919 Lincoln wheat cent is another coin that has gained significant attention in the numismatic world due to its historical significance and the features that make it stand out. The coin was minted during a transitional period in American history just a few years after World War I had ended. It was a time of economic change, and the coin reflects this period with its classic design, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the iconic wheat stalks. The 1919 Lincoln wheat cent, with an S mint mark, was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and the mintage of the 1919 S Lincoln cent was approximately 60 million coins. While this number seems relatively high, many of these coins were heavily circulated, which means that few examples remain in good condition today. In fact, most 1919 S Lincoln cents in circulated condition are typically found with heavy wear, making higher-grade examples particularly rare and valuable. One of the most notable aspects of the 1919 Lincoln wheat cent is its large date variety, which became a distinguishing feature of the coin. The large date was created when the dies used for striking the coins were reworked, resulting in the numerals appearing larger than usual. This small change in design is an important marker for collectors, as it makes the 1919 S coin stand out from other years of the series. The large date variety is one of the most desired among collectors due to its distinctiveness and the fact that fewer examples are available compared to the small date variety, making it a highly sought-after coin. The market value of the 1919 S Lincoln wheat cent in circulated dirty condition may seem relatively low, but even in such condition, this coin can fetch around $50 to $100 at auction, depending on its exact state. However, when you consider the rare, higher quality examples, such as coins that have been preserved with minimal wear or in uncirculated grades, the value increases exponentially. Coins graded as MS-64 or higher can easily exceed $2,500 in value, with some rarer pieces even reaching $10,000 or more. Now, what truly elevates the price of the 1919 Lincoln wheat cent, especially in its high-grade varieties, is its status as a key date in the Lincoln cent series. Because of the relatively low mintage and the fact that many of these coins were circulated heavily, it is extremely difficult to find a 1919s in good condition. This scarcity makes it an essential piece for advanced collectors, who are always on the lookout for coins that are not only rare, but have historical value tied to specific years and minting locations. The presence of damage or heavy dirt on a coin does not necessarily reduce its value dramatically. Some collectors actually prefer coins with signs of wear, as they feel these coins carry a greater sense of history. However, the value will always depend on the overall demand and rarity of the piece. For example, a 1919s with noticeable damage or dirt may sell for a price lower than a pristine example, but it still holds value due to its rarity and the collector's desire to own a piece of American history. The design features of the 1919s Lincoln wheat cent also contribute to its enduring popularity. As with the 1911 coin, the obverse design was created by Victor David Brenner, whose striking portrait of Abraham Lincoln has become an enduring symbol of American numismatics. The reverse features the wheat stalks, which were included to symbolize the nation's agricultural heritage, a theme that was important during the early 20th century when the country's economy was still heavily reliant on farming. Next up, the 1918 Lincoln wheat 1 cent is a piece of American history that stands out due to its remarkable condition and the lack of a mint mark. This year marks the end of World War I, a period that had an immense impact on the United States both socially and economically. The American people were dealing with the aftermath of the war, and the country's focus shifted towards reconstruction, economic growth, and the challenges of transitioning back to peacetime. In terms of coinage, the U.S. Mint was still using the designs introduced earlier in the 20th century, including the iconic Lincoln wheat cent designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's design features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who is remembered for his leadership during the Civil War and his role in ending slavery. This image of Lincoln, facing left, was engraved with a level of detail that made it an immediate hit with collectors and the general public. Surrounding Lincoln's image are the words, "Liberty and in God, we trust," which were an integral part of the nation's wartime sentiment, reflecting both the country's unity and its faith during a time of global conflict. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the two wheat stalks, which are symbolic of the nation's agricultural roots, with the words United States of America and A Pluribus Unum. The reverse design, while relatively simple, is iconic and provides a stark contrast to the more intricate obverse. However, it's the lack of a mint mark on this particular coin that makes it so rare and valuable. In 1918, the U.S. Mint produced coins at multiple facilities across the country, including Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver. The 1918 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary mint for most coins produced during that era. At first glance, the 1918 Lincoln wheat 1 cent without a mint mark might appear like just another vintage penny, but its value is tied to its rarity and its condition. While the mintage of this coin was relatively high at the time, the number of well-preserved examples, particularly in fine circulated condition, is quite small. In fact, finding a 1918 Lincoln wheat cent in fine condition without a mint mark is a significant achievement, as the vast majority of these coins were either worn down from heavy circulation or damaged over time. Collectors often focus on the coin's historical context, rarity, and the condition in which it has been preserved. This particular coin, due to its near-pristine condition for its age, holds a much higher value in the market. While a typical 1918 Lincoln wheat 1 cent may be worth a few dollars in circulated or even average condition, the absence of a mint mark and the coin's fine condition push its value well beyond that, with prices soaring over $100,000 at auction. The market for this coin has been steadily growing as more and more collectors seek out these rare specimens, not just for their numismatic value, but also for their connection to American history. The 1918 Lincoln wheat cent is considered one of the most significant coins in the history of the United States, and it holds a deep emotional value for collectors who appreciate the legacy of Lincoln and the historical period in which the coin was minted. What makes this coin particularly valuable is the collector interest surrounding it. The 1918 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark is one of the most sought-after coins in the Lincoln wheat cent series. Its combination of rarity, historical significance, and beautiful design features has made it a favorite among serious numismatists, and it is often considered a centerpiece of many collections. As such, the value of this coin continues to rise, making it a wise investment for those who are able to secure one in excellent condition. Next up, we have the 1953 Lincoln wheat 1 cent with a large damage date and the D mint mark. This particular coin, despite being in a circulated and dirty condition, is highly valued in today's auction market, with estimates reaching $100,000 or more due to its rarity and unique characteristics. The 1953 Lincoln wheat 1 cent, like its predecessors, was part of the ongoing series that honored President Abraham Lincoln, but this coin stands out for a few reasons. First, let's take a look at the historical context of the 1953 Lincoln wheat cent. By this time, the United States was experiencing the post-World War II economic boom, with the country's industries and infrastructure recovering rapidly from the war's devastation. This period also saw major advancements in technology, social change, and the rise of consumer culture. The 1950s were an exciting time in the U.S., with a sense of optimism and progress pervading the nation's public sentiment. The 1953 Lincoln wheat cent was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was still producing coins with the design of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The coin's obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which had been in use since 1909, and the reverse still showcases the two wheat stalks. These design elements had become iconic and were widely recognized by the American public. However, what makes this particular coin stand out is the large damage to the date, which gives it a unique and somewhat unusual appearance. This damage, which occurred during the striking process or in circulation, has caused the date on the coin to appear larger and more distorted than usual. While many collectors might overlook coins with such damage, this particular piece has become highly sought after due to its unique error. The presence of the D mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the key mints responsible for producing coins during this period. In terms of mintage, the 1953 Lincoln wheat cent had a relatively high number of coins produced, especially compared to earlier years in the series. However, the damaged date makes this coin particularly rare. While the 1953 Lincoln wheat cent in general circulation is relatively common, finding one with the large damage to the date, especially in dirty circulated condition, is extremely difficult. Coins like this are often overlooked or undervalued at first, but when they're recognized for their unique error and the fact that they come from a prominent mint like Denver, their value increases significantly. For collectors, the 1953 Lincoln wheat 1 cent with large damage is an intriguing example of how small imperfections in a coin's production can add to its value. While the condition of the coin might not be ideal, the damaged date adds an element of rarity and intrigue that is highly appealing to collectors who specialize in error coins. The fact that this coin has survived in such a unique condition only increases its desirability in the auction market. The auction market for error coins has been booming in recent years, with collectors paying top dollar for coins that exhibit unusual characteristics or manufacturing flaws. Coins like the 1953 Lincoln wheat 1 cent with a large damaged date are seen as interesting pieces of numismatic history, as they offer a glimpse into the production process and the types of mistakes that can occur during coin minting. This type of error coin is often seen as a collector's dream, as it is both a rare find and a piece of history that cannot be replicated. In terms of value, the 1953 Lincoln wheat cent with large damage and the D mint mark in circulated dirty condition can fetch prices well above $100,000 at auction, depending on the level of interest from collectors. As with other error coins, the market for these pieces can fluctuate based on demand. but their rarity and uniqueness ensure that they will always be in high demand among numismatists. The value of this coin is not just in its rarity, but also in the way it connects collectors with the process of coin production. It serves as a reminder that even in a time of mass production, errors can happen, and those errors can lead to highly valuable and collectible items. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat. 1 cent with large damage is a perfect example of how a seemingly flawed coin can become a valuable treasure in the world of numismatics. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!